Hello and welcome to Benefits to Work 2015. This is John Ferris making a recording on behalf of Benefits to Work and CJSS.org, and we're looking today at recruitment job search and keywords and the application tracking system. The objective of this presentation is to look at keywords in job adverts, the CV and the screening process, and to see the recruiter's viewpoint. What would be the real appeal of the tracking system? Well, the job alerts, we've seen them. They are generally ones where you'll see the advert here, you've got your salary, location and the job type, and keywords and phrases. I have previously made videos on this, but I've not highlighted this particular aspects of this particular area before, which I should be showing you shortly. The layouts of the sites are similar. You'll normally find your keyword, your location, your distance, and all the other different forms of information that you may find that are of use to both yourself from the viewpoint of what the advert's about, and also information that employers are taking out, looking that they're hoping you're going to then reply using their key information. So let's give you an example of the type of key information that you might find. You might find that you've put in for a driver and you've maybe been a driver 20-30 years plus, and you may actually have driven larger vehicles. In fact, you may have driven a 7.5 ton vehicle, and it's worth noting here that 7.5 ton is featured here, here and here. This is obviously a key aspect for the applicant. They must have that with a C1 entitlement. So if we were making an application for this particular job, there would be a search section on this within a tracking system possibly to highlight that particular area. And it would be the same with other libraries like the CV library here. We'll be looking at the keywords again, the industrial sector, the postcode, and an employer will look at geographical area potentially within their search. Quite often now our systems are computerized. It's not no longer a man behind the desk looking at hundreds and hundreds of sheets of paper. He can filter it down far more effectively using key comparisons of education experience, possibly through places like Monster, LinkedIn, college postings, etc. Now you'll see these types of search engine research systems feature quite regularly. Okay, so your CV is going to be checked by a computer and ranked before anyone is likely to see it. Let's find out a little bit more. This is the employer's aspect, but the background. Note the resume, not the word resume, is the same as CV.
To understand the hiring process, it's important to understand all the technology being used by job boards and hiring companies. Most people incorrectly assume that people are still reading resumes. While just a few years ago, about 70% of hiring companies were using applicant tracking systems to manage applicants, now almost all companies and job boards like Monster, CareerBuilder, Indeed, and others are using resume filtering technology and applicant tracking systems. The proliferation of this technology has been driven by the volume of applicants to each job and the need to search for applicants based on specific criteria for each job.
The volume is quite an important aspect to the recruitment process, as is the tracking system, as in the filtration system. And you'll see a little bit more on the other video as well about that aspect.
It's probably worth noting at this point, even if you network your way into a company, your resume will be put into an applicant tracking system. This is because companies are governed by equal employment opportunity laws to prevent discrimination and other unfair hiring practices. In most companies, hiring managers are no longer allowed to accept emailed or physical resumes without it first being submitted to the applicant tracking software. So referrals, social media, and LinkedIn all are subject to the applicant tracking system as well.
This is a key aspect to it. Twitter, as well as LinkedIn, as it's just been stated, use applicant tracking systems as well.
Let's look at an applicant tracking system to understand how your application makes its way to the hiring manager. First, you see a job posting on a job board or corporate career website. You submit your application. The first thing to happen is your resume is parsed into its components so the applicant tracking system can show all applicants in the same format.
So everybody's put in the same way, whatever the text and style makes little difference, because at the end of the day it's going through a system to come out the other way, and that's the reason why the CV becomes more important. It's harder to phone a cold call a manager to get your name higher up in the system because of the filtration system. I'm going to move on here to the CV ranking, because it may be now concerning you that you would struggle to pass this ATS system. So let's hear a little bit about this. I would add to this at this stage again that all these videos are available on our playlist.
Will your CV pass the applicant tracking systems test? When you write your CV, are you designing it for human eyes or for an applicant tracking system? The problem is, we never know if the recipient will feed it into an ATS or read it. The CV that is read by an ATS needs to be formatted differently from one that will be read by a person. So what is the best way to format it? An applicant tracking system, or ATS, is software that reads your CV or resume and ranks it according to certain criteria. There are a number of systems on the market. They don't all use the same criteria. In many cases, they filter applications automatically based on given criteria such as former employers, years of experience, schools, colleges and universities attended. The ATS allocates a score to your CV or resume according to the criteria it has been given. Most recruiters then only view the high-scoring CVs. The problem is they're not necessarily the resumes of the people best qualified for the job, because if some of the information is missing, this will adversely affect the ranking, and the application may not even be reviewed by a recruiter. When a recruiter looks at a CV or resume in an ATS, they click on the name of the candidate the ATS has ranked as a good match for the position. But the recruiter doesn't see the resume the candidate submitted. They see the information the ATS extracted from the resume into a database. The snag is the ATS may not import the information contained in the CV or resume. The ATS contains database fields for information such as the candidate's name, contact details, work experience, job titles, education, employer names, and periods of employment.
So there are different aspects of information that are sought. You need to fill out all those fields on those application systems or on your profile on the system that you are applying the jobs through to actually get a stronger chance of getting your ranking higher, and you will often see the ranking within the system. So if there's any further questions you've got on that area, please don't hesitate to come back. Finally, we're just going to briefly look at the monster recruitment advert that's sent to the employer to give you more of a sense as to why employers use it. This particular advert is also available on map and photos related to the American recruitment side. In fact, they've only changed the London picture that you see here to the American one with a map as well featured within the video to the US map.
The world is constantly changing, and the demands on business change with it. The internet and an expanding number of sources have changed recruiting. Technology moves fast, and you know how hard it can be to stay ahead of the curve. Did you know that 1 in 5 people have pretended to know how cloud computing works? We can only assume that the number that did not admit it is even higher. Did you know 60% of CEOs listed innovation as their company's primary focus? Yet, 93% use the exact same social network for hiring. That's basically the opposite of innovation. Talent Bin by Monster can evolve your social media strategy and help you reach hard-to-find technical talent where they live online. And speaking of social media, right now there are over 630,000 open jobs in the UK. So if you're looking for new and better ways to attract talent on social media, we get that.
Monster is involved with using software, as you've just seen, to actually filter out those people that are applying for jobs. So we hope that's been of some use to you, and there's a lot more information on our playlist, and we hope to speak to you in due course. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video.